Hey, welcome to a new video about foot packs. Can a different foot pack improve my riding technique? That is the question that I have. Let's start looking at my first video. Yet another Sunday of practicing. Today we have something new and going to see if that is going to work on the Ventic. So we have a new foot packs and we're going to see if that is going to do something. I have no idea. It's the first time that I'm going to drive them. I think the track is okay, so I think this is my home track. So I can really see if it brings me something. I'll let you know. So yeah, what is wrong with my riding technique? That is the question. And to answer that question, I think we have to go a little bit back where, let's say, everything starts. And I started motocross in 2003 and I was 29, I think, at that time. So I'm not really young, so to say. And this is a picture of my first bike. Yeah. And that was an TM racing bike, 300cc, two-stroke. And I can remember when I drove this the first time, I was really overwhelmed with the power of this bike, especially when it go into the higher revs. It was really something. Now, I never did any formal training at that time or did any research in riding technique. However, at the track, yeah, you talk to all the guys at the track and ask them how they ride and how they do that, etc. So, so let's say formally there is no real training, but informally you talk about it a lot. However, of course, at the track we're all beginners. At least the first track that I went. So yeah, I did not get so super good advice from people, but yeah, that's a little bit how that went. And I think that was also quite normal in those days to do it. You know? What is a little bit a pity is that, especially during the first years, I have very little photos of that. And that was just a simple reason that, first of all, I did not have a camera at that time. And second of all, when I had the camera, I would not even consider taking it to the track because I would think it would die. And yeah, so that is some of the reasons why there are no photos. And I was also not so busy with the fact and that I could get information from a photo. This is 2006, that is already 3 years later, same bike still. This is in Honda Park, Belgium. That track is closed currently. And I have a few photos of this track, but it is really analog photos and I've digitized this one. And that was just because I took a throwaway camera with me and I asked a person standing there on this tabletop that is a little bit in front of the track, say, can you make a few photos when I make the jump over here? So he did. Now you see also the coloring is really weird, but okay, that was, yeah, it was a cheap photo thing, so also you cannot expect a lot. Yeah, this was still analog camera. And then in 2007, this is in my home track, MC Rilland. I can remember that on this day, my dad came around. He had a digital camera, one of the early ones. So he made a few photos when I was on the track. And yeah, this was really my coolest photo that I had, of course, because yeah, I was flying over a jump and then looking at him when he was making this photo, standing in a field of wheat, because that's what he's standing in. This is on the same day. This is a sort of jump up, yeah. So you had a yeah, steep ramp in front of it, and then some thing going up and then going down again. So I'm already landed and I'm going over the top here. Yeah, okay. Also 2007, I had more photos, but I just took these two. Yeah, you might think, yeah, so what does this bring me? In those days, really, the photos did not tell me a lot. By now, I learned a little bit more that a photo could say something. So let me have a look. For instance, this photo, the 2003 photo. Now, what can we see here? We see, for instance, that my foot is positioned. It looks straight, to be honest, but you do not see my shifter. So, but I think my shifter is behind my boot. Yeah, and of course that is a little bit scary situation, because it could be that my shifter is just pointing out like this and that my feet is like this. Yeah, so touching the shifter. So that is not really a smart thing to do, I would say. And to be precise, you have to realize that this spot I'm getting prepared to make a jump on a table. And that's why I'm standing up as well in this picture. Now, okay, scary position of the foot. I can also remember in this track, to give you a little bit of reference, especially more, if you say here to the rear, there's a track the other direction. You got a lot of bumps. And I can remember in those days, I would just shift down or up by accident, because, of course, my foot is not positioned correctly. What more can we see? Well, we see that the knee goes forward, but yeah, I'm going from sitting to standing, so it could be in the middle of this picture. But if you see more of the photos later on, you see that is a common theme with Christian. And what is very clear is that the butt is tucked under. That is also clearly a thing that I do. That is not really a good thing to do, I would say. Now, what more can we observe? That although my elbows are a little bit to the side, it could be better. Yeah, it's always better if you keep your arms strong and up. Well, up and therefore strong, you could say. Then this photo, the 2006 photo, can we see anything in there? Well, it's not so clear because it's a little bit fuzzy photo, but if you observe carefully, you can see in this picture, so that is 3 years later, I'm pointing my foot, this is the brake side, towards the camera. And so my solution for not standing on the brake, not standing on the shifter by accident, is by putting my feet outwards. Yeah, so driving like this. Yeah, as I was going up this ramp, this is a very steep ramp, at least for me at that time. It was really big, huge, steep ramp. Yeah, you stand up very straight, and that also makes that the butt goes under again, and automatically the knees will come forward, because yeah, you do that in that way. I know now that is maybe not the smartest thing to do, but yeah, you just find a balance point, and this is what it was. Then I took the second photo of 2007, and yeah, again here the knee is quite forward, but I'm a little bit in the middle of sitting to standing, standing to sitting, I do not know. So, but it does look in this position that I'm have my knee quite forward. And you again see that now the shifter foot, because you see the shifter very clearly in this photo, is pointing towards the camera, so it's pointing outwards. And yeah, my elbows, yeah, are sort of to the side, but not really up, right? The butt is again tucked under. And yeah, if you think about that, this is just after landing. The suspension is already out again, so probably I already landed before. Yeah, I don't know, it's a little bit strange position. It could be that I'm in a transition from landing and then going to sit. I do not know. That is a little bit unclear. What I do find strange in this photo is, yeah, it looks like that I'm looking at my fender. Yeah, my front fender. I have no idea what it is. I know I'm going down, but is this still sort of left over from the landing? I do not know. That is a little bit strange, and it's a little bit too long ago to make that a conclusion. Yeah. Then I go to 2013, and yeah, you see a very fuzzy image, but this in 2013, I think that was the time that we got the smartphones with cameras. So this is probably the one of the first iPhones that my friend had, and yeah, he made a video of me in here in an indoor track in Roosendaal, and this is a different bike, by the way. This is also TM Racing, but 250 two-stroke. And yeah, let's have a look how that looks. What you can clearly see, at least in the last corner where you saw me coming close by, is that yeah, I skid with my rear brake completely. So I get my clutch in and I completely skid into the corner. I can remember when I did yeah, the first few rounds on this indoor track. Yeah, all the corners are short, and I was not used to that at all. And yeah, every time I stalled my bike, that's what I did. So yeah, immediately I started grabbing the clutch in every corner so that I did not stall the bike. But yeah, it was also very easy to just skid the rear wheel in this way. So in itself, it was good practice, I think, riding this indoor thing to doing shorter corners. But I was really not really yeah, very aggressive, and that but it was good practice. Yeah. Yeah, I have more of these type of videos. Yeah, in itself, at that time I was just happy that I had some videos and I could not make so many things out of that. Now, looking at a few more photos of the upcoming years. So 2015, me and my friend Chef, hey Chef, we went to Spain. The idea was that we were going to drive his caravan to Spain to stall it there, because he's going to Spain every year with his kids at that time. But the caravan never came there, but we did, and we started driving the whole week almost, except one day, I believe. And this was a beautiful track. Only, yeah, it's hard packed track. So here I'm going out of the corner. You see my left foot sticking out a little bit because I'm scary that I will spin out. And yeah, I'm accelerating here. Pay attention a little bit to the foot, especially the right foot. So that's where the brake is. I'm not on the brake anymore. And yeah, it's almost at the heel, as you can see, the foot peg. And yeah, I'm pointing outwards with my feet again. Huh? Now, I'm pretty straight on the bike. If you think about this as acceleration, yeah, I could better bring this more forward, but in this picture, in that time, I did not do that. What was a very good thing for me, at least, what I can remember, it was because in Spain, the tracks are much more hilly than in the Netherlands. I really had to get used to using the brakes. And so that was really good practice. In here you see me going up the hill, and yeah, I'm a little bit strange position. I'm like, am I sitting, am I standing, what am I doing? You have to understand that that's a little bit difficult to point out, but at the bottom there is a corner, and then you have to drive up. So probably in the corner I was in second gear, and then I had to shift to third gear somewhere going up that hill. And I know for 100% sure in that time I could not shift standing. So probably I started off sitting, keep on sitting, do the shift, and when I got at this spot where it is really steep, because you see my front wheel coming up, I was like, yeah, maybe I need to go a little bit more to the front, because else I will do a loop out or something. So, but yeah, that is the only thing what I can guess. It's a long time ago. Then in 2016, I joined a choir. No, that's not. That's just for fun here, this picture. The funny thing is that we got sponsors for gearing. And here there are all the people on a ride day to show off all the people that got the gear. Yeah. So in 2016, we also went a week to Spain for riding. And you see me in this gearing. And yeah, if you pay attention, it's not so clear, but you see my rear brake, it's visible, and you see again my right boot pointing at the camera while the motor is going the other direction, so to say. Now, okay. Another one in Spain. As I was telling you, you really have up and downhill. Well, this is how the photo was taken, but if we make the horizon normal, then it looks like this. And now you can see that, yeah, if you go down this hill, you have to make sure if there's a corner there that you brake there, because else you will not survive it. Yeah, let's not talk about my position here because it looks rubbish, but that's the way it is. Another picture, also 2016, I was jumping down here, and for me, very clearly, what you see is my butt tucked under. What is a little bit less clear in this picture is my foot position, but I think if we would zoom in, you also see it's pointing outwards. The next year we went to France. France was also more up and down tracks. And I think this was a corner just down the hill. So this was flat, but it was just 2 seconds before coming down the hill. So I think my feet was still on the rear brake. And that's why my feet is straight, but it's still above the rear brake. Yeah, so I did not get my foot off. It's just hovering above the rear brake. Yeah, and you see a little bit the similar position of my body as you saw in the other photos. But in itself, I'm sort of centered in the bike. Now, this photo, another photo in France. Let's do the following thing. Yeah, this is actually more how it really was. Yeah, so I'm driving here down the hill, and what we learn on this track particularly is driving these pieces of rock that were in that track, because you see that a lot. So if you look there, over there in the track, yeah, there were so many pieces of rock, and especially down the hill, there was a corner going up again. Yeah, it was like driving over these balls or something, but then only these rocks. So it was really good for the balance. I can tell you that. But the first time that you make that corner there, you're driving in first gear almost, because you didn't dare to make a corner in that stuff. But the funny thing is, if you drive that a whole day, all of a sudden you do get familiar with that, and you get okay with it as well. Now, going to 2008, this is a track in the Netherlands again. This is during a race, I think. A flat corner to the right, and then a flat corner to the left behind it, and a jump. So what I'm doing is, before the corner, I shift back, I think to maybe second or third gear, I do not know exactly. And I keep my foot under the shifter. That is what you see here. But I think my position in itself is pretty nice and straight, and also way forward, so that there's good some pressure on the front tire, so that you do not fall on your face because your front wheel is going away. So that, for me, it looks pretty okay, this one. Same year, but then at MC Rilland, I'm driving out of the corner. You see that this track has much more sand, especially on this spot. And I'm accelerating here out of the corner. Now look at where my right foot is. It's almost at 45 degrees outwards, right? And I think it is like this because I am pushing it, but I did not bother in getting it inwards. I think my hands are also pretty much towards the donuts, which I'm trying to get rid of as well. And for this picture, it's very hard to see where I'm positioned back and forward on the bike and where my head is. But it feels that I'm a little bit away from my bar there. But yeah. Same year, but then back to MC de Sproeier during a race. Just had a corner turned left, and this is to the straight. So I'm accelerating hard here. You see my right foot, how far it's pointing out. It's even almost further than 45 degrees. And I know at this point I'm pushing it hard, but because I'm riding like this also in the corner with my feet out, it's getting more out and more. And you see also my elbow going down. So I did not take get my gas over in the corner and then turn it around, and yeah, you get this sort of figure. My head is not really above the bar. My back is rounded, so I think there's quite some pressure here in the arms. I can also remember that after a few rounds I could not accelerate so well here anymore because I could not hold on. 1 year later, exact same spot. Well, I don't know if you compare it. Okay, maybe my right foot is a little bit more inwards, but I'm sitting further to the rear at this spot. So it means I'm hanging even more on my hands. And if you look at what my arm is doing, yeah, that is probably because I wanted to bring my body forward to compensate because I was sitting too much to the rear. So I have this strange thing with my elbow there. Yeah, okay. On my home track, a photo when making a jump. And if you look at my foot, where it is positioned, it's almost on my heel. That is really strange. Knees forward, rounded back, tucked butt. Yeah. This, I think it is the same jump, but just a different angle of the photo. Yeah. What can I say? I think my left foot is a little bit more straight, but I think I'm holding the shifter just in the shift that I did, maybe in the air or just before the jump. I do not know. So I tend to do that as well. So I go up the jump and I shift maybe in the air or just before the jump. And sometimes I just keep my boot under the shifter so you have more feel that you hold the bike, so to say, but it's with the shifter. If you look at the position of my knees and how my butt is, yeah, this is not really ideal, I would say. But okay, that is this photo. It is just that photo. Now, in the years before, I probably have looked at YouTube, but really in 2020-21, I really got inspired by a number of YouTube channels. And the number one there was for me the MX Factory YouTube channel. From Tyler, because he had a lot of good, simple movies explaining how to do this, how to do that, etc., etc., and also going over steps. Oh, a lot of people make this mistake, make this mistake. Because I was looking at that, also Ryan Hughes came by, and later on also AJ Catanzaro. There were a number more of motocross guys who did videos where I looked at, but I would say these are my main channels where I focused on at that time. And yeah, let's see if we see something different in photos, if it rubbed off. Now, this is a photo on my home track. This is a small jump, and the jump is in a corner. I have a zillion photos of this. That's because the photographer can stand on that spot as well, but also in the track, yeah, it's just there. And yeah, if we look at my feet, well, both are pointing outwards, so I'm doing the duck-footed thing here still. No, elbows are pretty much up, but yeah, for the rest I cannot really say something about my posture. Here a jump in that same year. Yeah, foot is pointing outwards. Yeah, very clearly still. Not so much, but still pointing outwards. Elbows, I think, are okay, but I have no idea. It seems my knees are still very much forward. Now, in early 2021, I think, I became a Patreon member of the MX Factory. And this is Tyler explaining about standing on the balls of his feet in any of his videos. And in that Patreon environment, I could ask also questions. And so, yeah, I said to these guys, I said, hey, I do so many things wrong if I look at your videos. This I'm doing wrong, this I'm doing wrong, this I'm doing wrong. So, but what is the first thing that I should focus on getting fixed or getting better? And there was one clear answer there from the guys. At that time, they were still with 2 people. Yeah, focus on riding on the balls of your feet first before you start looking at any of the other things. Because if this is not going right, then in fact your balance is not okay, and yeah, that means it's all the rest is also not going to get better in an easy way. Okay. Yeah, this is the video where Ryan is explaining about riding on the balls of his feet. This is the first video, but he did, I think, 10 or 20 more where he explains about yeah, the advantage of riding on the balls of your feet. Yeah. This is, I think, the first video of AJ that I found, and he's showing here where his riding boot is worn. So he's trying to point out, hey, look where my boot is worn out. That is where you should stand on your back, and that is then on the balls of your feet. Okay, good. Now, let's see if it helps anything looking at the videos. Now, this is the beginning of 2021. And yeah, this is the shifter side that we see. Yeah, it is a little bit more straight, the foot, but it's pointing towards the camera. Now, this one then, this is again the similar spot as we had in the previous photo. Yeah, look how much my shifter foot is pointing outwards. So clearly here my foot is not straight yet. Yeah, I'm not sure if my elbows are a little bit better, but I do feel that my head is a little bit more forward here in this shot compared to previous shots. However, my butt, if I look to this picture, feels tucked under. Not good. Yet a different spot than in this track, a little bit later that year, I think. Also made by Cinderella. Thank you, Cinderella. Yeah, I still see my foot going outwards. Cool photo in itself, but not really positioned 100% well. Now, because the MX Factory, they sort of stopped their activities on that Patreon channel, and also I think that one person that was with Taylor stopped working with Taylor. There was very little activity going on there. I saw the first movies that AJ created, that he was creating his Moto Academy, and then yeah, he was telling that he was getting an app. So in August 2021, so it's a little bit later that year, I joined the Moto Academy app. Before this, I already joined you, or AJ, also as Patreon member. So I was Patreon of MX Factory and AJ at that time. But yeah, AJ went to this app format. Okay. That led to that I started making photos, or at least I asked somebody to make photos or use photos that somebody else took. that is most of the time, I would say. And then send that into the app for analysis. Now, I can remember that I asked AJ in the beginning about this particular jump a lot, saying, yeah, I cannot do this jump, blah, 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 blah. And especially landing on my front wheel first, what you say, oh, that's scary as hell. And here I forgot my helmet. How can you do that? Huh? But I forgot my helmet going towards the track. And I asked my wife to bring the helmet. And when she was there, I said, oh, can you also make some photos of me doing this jump? Because then I can send it in for analysis for AJ. Now, and I made these kind of photos and put that in the app. And now, it's not so important what the feedback was of this particular thing, but what I can clearly see in this photo is what I'm doing with my right foot, because my right foot, especially in the last photo on that side, is that it's clearly pointing forward. So, of course, I knew that the photo was being taken, so I was really paying attention to this. So I had a good form, and also to have a good attack position form. I can remember I was thinking about that, and also getting the bike tilted forwards. Yeah, so that were the things that I was paying attention to. Now, I was pretty happy with this photo construction. Now, and then just somewhere on the track, also that bump we have seen already a few times now. So I'm going over the bump. It's not a very clear photo, I know that, but I do see that my shifting foot here is really much better on the peg and pointing inwards than in all the previous photos. And I have to be honest here, I knew that Cinderella was standing over there, so probably I did got myself in the right position when going over this thing. So the funny thing is, so that knowing that the camera is there did bring me in doing that. Yeah. So it's not by natural yet. Now, in 22, I can remember we also made the first video thing with a GoPro. So we used a GoPro from a friend, or at least Chef brought that from a friend from work. And we used that also for making some movies. And then I thought, well, okay, that really brings something extra. So in 2023, I bought my own action camera. And I thought, well, let's also start my YouTube channel. So that's what you see here. And you see a few photos that were taken. This is a young guy. He's into the photography and also motocross, and I think also supercross. No, something like, I don't know. Yeah, what we see at least in this picture, and that is important for me. I think I just see in a tiny bit the shifter, and I see that my left foot is sort of pointing forwards, and I'm sort of trying to hang into this into the bike more, so that as if I'm trying to drop my ankles here. My butt is more out, I would say, than most of the other pictures, and my knee is pretty straight above my back. Not perfect, but well, pretty straight. Yeah, elbows nice up. Now, this is a picture during a race. And why did I pick this picture? I was not focusing on, let's say, form, because I was doing a race here. But what I was pretty happy about, the photo is a little bit twisted, but it's because he took that photo a little bit to the side, or she, it's an Amy, so that's a she. And what I was happy about, that I have both feet here on this flat corner. It's a long flat corner, by the way. I have them both here, nice, looking inwards. And yeah, my elbows are not really 100% up, but they're sticking a little bit out. And I'm sitting a little bit on the side of my motorcycle to get it a sort of angle. I think my right foot is already on the brake here, so I'm, yeah, about to brake here. I'm not 100% sure here, but that is, I think, what I'm doing here at this spot, if I remember it correctly. On the same track, I found this a very cool photo. It was a sort of mini jump where you would go over, and I would try to stay as low as possible to get as much speed. Now, if you look at this, this is much more like I'm trying to do an attack position, right? Ass out, knees above, and no, not 100%, but for 90% my toe is pointing forwards. However, what you do see is that my foot is getting very close to the rear brake. I can remember when, practicing with getting the foot from, let's say, this position to the forward position. All of a sudden, I started braking out of nothing because, I was just turning my foot inwards and not moving it towards the balls of my feet. So, maybe if you're into this yourself, pay attention if you are going to practice this, getting your feet more inwards, that you also bring it to the balls of your feet, and that you do not by accident start shifting or braking, because I did it also myself. And if it doesn't, it's just happening somewhere on the straight, then it's not, of course, a problem. But the problem is always it happens when you go into a bump, because then your balance goes off a little bit, and then you stamp on that brake, and you throw yourself forward or something. So always when you are practicing these things, maybe do not do it on the 100% of your effort. Do it a little bit with less effort. Finally, I understand, AJ. Same track, same day. Going through a corner, there was a little rut. I'm pretty happy with how my right feet is. I'm sitting down. The left leg could be higher, of course, but no, pretty straight on the bike. Making that corner. Again, this is during a race, so it's not really that I'm focusing on my posture so much. A little bit later in this year, same spot again over that bump. Cinderella again photo. No, I like the way I'm standing here on this bike. It looks for me better than it was ever before. So it seems that some stuff is rubbing off on my riding, at least in these photos. I wanted to share this one as well. It's not a super photo or something, but I found it an interesting photo. Why? Because I have to point like this. Over here, there's my mechanic, and we were in a race, and I was just passing him here before, and he's driving the new Fentic. I'm driving the somewhat older Fentic here. And if I look how my foot is here on this particular spot, I just made the corner, and I'm accelerating out of that corner. Well, I'm pretty much on the balls of my feet and pushing into the bike, so to say, and I'm pretty straight up. So I think the posture is here pretty okay. That is pretty nice. My mechanic, by the way, is called Frans. Or French in Dutch or in English, I don't know. Same track, same race. This is made by Eleanor, I think. I'm trying to emulate the attack position, although I never tuck in my t-shirt, so it looks like I'm rounding it. But if you look to my tummy, you really see that I'm trying to arch my back here at this spot, and I'm also trying to put my angle downwards, although the position of the pack is not, let's say, on the right spot yet. That is what we see here. Okay. In 2023 is also the first time that I joined training in the Netherlands with a Dutch coach, and that is Perry Donkers from Donkers MX Training. And I was, I think, the oldest guy and with the most experience in this group. But it doesn't really matter. That was just fun. I got a lot of feedback from him immediately. And he being a coach, it helps you a little bit in just getting feedback on what you're doing. And yeah, he really had some good explanation about how to make corners. He was not so about standing on the balls of your feet, but he was more about making your corner in a correct way and the fastest way. And I even nowadays, when I start riding again, all the lessons that he taught goes through my head, and I'm pushing against the shroud when I'm making corners, etc. And I'm thinking about when he says, okay, now you have to gas, etc. So yeah, if you have the possibility to do training, and if you're a new rider, I really, really recommend it. Yeah, do not start driving like me and then for years drive as a sort of maniac because you have no idea what you're doing. In 2023, also won the trip. So I went to the Moto Academy in the United States. That was really fun, a few days. And that was together with Premix Papa. So in the photo there on top, you see him, the guy with the glasses. Yeah, in the beginning. Now, it was really fun, right? I drove at the track Tomahawk. And yeah, that track that you see in a lot of videos of the early videos of AJ, I would say. Now, I can tell you it's a quite difficult track because it is really a soft dirt there. So you get really big ruts over the day. No? 2024 then. Now, I think Eleanor, this is again you taking the picture. I also made video of this corner, so maybe the video is a little bit better for analysis. But I can remember over here I was focusing on trying to ride a rod. That's first of all, not the inner rod, but I think the second rod. And because I am trying to ride the rod, I keep on standing at least to the half of the corner, so to 50%. And to be honest, if I look at the videos, what I did here, so it is between the 50 and 75%. I started sitting, so I'm not sure when the photo was taken, if this is in the transition or not. The only why I put this photo in is more to see where is the peg, the foot peg. Yeah, and if you see where the peg is, now it's not against my heel, but it is also not really at the balls of my feet yet. Yeah, so a lot of time I'm trying to lean into the foot peg, but yeah, I'm not on the right spot yet, so that the leaning is not really that good. If this would look the whole corner like this, then I would say I have a tucked butt again, but I cannot remember so much from the video, but okay, I'm trying. I took this video of a jump. This is not so interesting to see this jump. I think my foot is going forward. Elbows are not perfect, but okay, yeah. But what I wanted to show is because I took, or somebody took this photo, well, it could also be of a video, of me going over this jump and another person. Now, and what that other person is doing with his bike, yeah, that is what we all want, right? We want to be able to throw that bike when we go over a jump. So that was really something that we aim for. And that's a little bit what we see on this jump. I think also Eleanor took this photo, or somebody else that was standing on that jump on that day. And it's not like the other guy in the other jump, but at least you can see at the bottom of my fenders. And here I was really trying to get a little bit of angle into the motorcycle. I can remember I practiced that a lot in 2024. Although, yeah, I cannot do a whip or something, not even close. Yeah, but yeah, you have to start somewhere, and this is where I started. Now, if we look at the position of the foot here, the right foot, compared to the photo in the corner, then this is more to the position where it should be. So I'm already surprised that in this jump, I am like this. You could also say I have a tucked butt here, but if you look at the videos that I took of this jump, then you see that somewhere in the middle, I I'm really sitting more straight in this jump, like I could sit down on my bike because I let the bike come to me, and I'm really sitting straight. And when I'm going towards the landing, then I get my butt out more. Yeah, so that explains a little bit what we see here at this spot. Okay, good. This I also want to show. It was during a race, the first corner, and Eleanor took this photo. Yeah, and you see here everything in the past what I did wrong, I'm still doing wrong here in the first corner. Yeah, my foot is just bangling there, and my left foot is, yeah, you see it 45 degrees or something. Yeah, and also my back is not straight, so yeah. And that is also the thing, if you start learning something new, you will start with doing it maybe 1% correct, and then maybe 2% correct, and then maybe at some point 5%, and hopefully at some point you get at the 90% of the time you do it correct. But then still there will be 10% where you do it wrong or get off balance, whatever what, and you revert back to whatever feels okay at that moment. Yeah, so maybe if you're also into improving the technique in motocross, yeah, keep that in mind. Yeah, if you practice, it will take a long time before you do everything in the correct way. So it is better if you do it immediately, yeah, when you start, when you're new, practicing it in the correct way, and not like me, first do it many years wrong and then try to get rid of the wrong. That is very difficult. Yeah, it doesn't feel natural when you do it, and that feels strange, I can tell you that. Okay, finally, going back to the question, right? So, can a different foot peg improve my riding technique? Because I only talked about what I do doing wrong for up till now. And yeah, why would a new foot peg bring anything, first of all? Yeah. Now, this is a photo of the bottom of my riding boots, and I think I bought these 3 years ago, so 2022. And that's also a little bit that time when I started looking all of the videos, and then what I showed you riding on the balls of my feet, I was aware of that. And if you look at how it is worn out, clearly that I never cross the balls of my feet. Yeah, of course, I think you should not really do that, because that's a little bit scary, because then you would be a little bit too far at the edge of your foot peg. But if you look carefully to the bottom thing, you can almost see a sort of foot peg in there, and that is not really sitting at the balls of my feet. That is really clear. So I'm still putting my feet too much to the middle, and one, is not good for balance on the bike. Two, it's also a little bit scary because I'm very close to my shifter and to my rear brake. Yeah, and in case of if I go out of balance, I would by accident maybe press the brake or the shifter, which you do not want. Yeah, it's always on the wrong spot when it happens, of course. Another thing that was in 2024, that was the so-called June challenge. And for the June challenge, we had to ride with 2 feet on the back in corners, and that led that I was pointing my camera down to see what I was doing with my foot. And this is the conclusion slide that I was making for that June challenge. And yeah, the very first bullet that you see there, I'm still riding duck-footed. Yeah, so it means with my foot pointing outwards. And it is more on the shifter side than it is on the brake side. That is what I concluded there. And my conclusion was also that I'm not enough on the balls of my feet, because of how close my shifter and my brake is, yeah, in that footage. So yeah, that was for me like, okay, I'm doing that wrong. And in some of these new videos that AJ was doing, he was talking about some of the somewhat older riders. Well, I'm also a little bit an older rider, right? They had these special foot packs, and that would give them a little bit more confidence in riding on their balls of their feet. And it was an extended foot pack, this was called. So I was just do a search on internet, and yeah, you then come at this company called Fastway. I think that is in the United States, and these are the cheap ones that they have. So they even have more expensive one, but these are the cheap ones. And yeah, if we look at the numbers a little bit here, so 260. Well, I forget about the numbers behind the digit. Plus 22, so that is 282. And if I have to send that to the Netherlands, I have to pay tax and import tax. So that is additional 25.5%. So I have to pay around, let's say, $350, $360 or euros just for these food packs. Now you can imagine that I was doing a little bit like, am I going to do this? Because this is not really just some amount of money, right? This is quite some money. So I don't know how I figured it out, but somehow I did more searches, and on Amazon, of all places, I found this foot pack. It is a foot pack for an YZ250, an Yamaha, and yeah, I have a Fentic that is in fact a YZ250. So my guess was that it would fit my Fentic, and you see the price is 66 and 10 cents euros. Well, that's also dollars almost. And yeah, if I ordered that, it took a few weeks before I got it because it comes from a Chinese company, but I have this in a nice box at home. So I asked my mechanic, okay, can you put these things on? And then we're going to drive with this. Yeah, and for 66 euros or dollars, well, that is something. If it's not working, well, what does it matter? Yeah, it's not so much money lost or something. Now, okay, let's have a look at my first impression. The person here on the right hand side, that's my mechanic, Frans.
Ja, uit. Hij wil er niet uit. Hij wil gewoon doorrijden. Ik ook hoor, maar... Je rijdt lekker? Ja.
Now, this is all in Dutch, of course, because I live in the Netherlands. Yeah, I drive off the track after, let's say, the whole day driving with these foot packs for the first time. And so I'm driving to France because he was standing on the exit. And we have a little bit of laugh about that. My motor wouldn't go off. But he's asking, so what do you think about the packs? I said, yeah, I really like them. Really like driving them. Yeah. So that is my first impression, and also that I got on camera. Now, the question is, of course, because I did it also, so does it look different if I look at my feet with my camera? And now this is at the start, and I do it in half speed because you can see it very well what's happening at the start. So I'm going away, and when I'm going away, I'm always thinking about, okay, where should my feet be? So I think they're in the right spot. Even on this still, you can already see I'm really on the balls of my feet, but you can also see the distance from the shifter, and in a moment also the distance towards the brake. Yeah, and yeah, if I drive away, I would say going through a sort of tunnel. After the tunnel, we have to check on the right hand side if motorcycles are coming. So my foot goes to the brake. You see that? Yeah, somewhere over here. I'm on the brake already. But okay, there's nobody coming. So now is the spot where I go into the track here. And you already see that my right foot is forward, braking, going a little bit back. But you saw the position of my foot at the shifter, it was very close. Yeah. Now and then over here, I'm close, much closer than in the beginning. And here I'm getting ready for the first jump. And I don't know if you saw it, but my foot was under the shifter going on over the jump. Now yeah, I got the rest a little bit in 4-speed because else you see a lot of sitting down as well. It takes a long time. But if you look in general, so what we saw in the photos, we see now in this movie as well. So yes, I'm pointing forwards, except a little bit the shifter foot is doing, it's going to the side more. And if you saw, I'm this close to the brake and this close to the shifter. So it's not all of a sudden that I have these pegs on that I start driving in a correct way or something. That is clearly not the case. Then in October 11th, so that is a few days later, I went to a different track, and yeah, I also made some video for that. So the Ventec is also ready, and again, second time with the new packs. So let's see how it feels today. Now this was not on purpose, of course. So I jumped into the second landing or bump, and then I made some stills after that second bump where my foot is on that foot peg. And it's not 100% clearly visualized, but you can clearly see that I'm mostly very close towards the heel or somewhere in the middle of my foot with the foot peg. So I'm clearly not standing on the balls of my feet. Now the last still is when I started making an inside turn and my foot is 100% on the brake. So it's not touching the foot peg. And you see I'm really sitting forward to make an inside corner. I think even my front finger is on the front brake because I want to take over a person that I was trying to pass there in that corner. Now, okay. So second time was not really better, I would say. Now then the third time, that was again on my home track. And I start filming some jumps, or at least I think Frans did this for me. And let's have a look how that went then, if that makes a difference. Third time, just the bags. I can clearly remember that I was focusing on trying to keep my knees above the pegs, because I was thinking that I was now more on the balls of my feet and my knees should stay above the foot pegs, because AJ told me, oh, you bring your knees forward, so you have to think about that. And what I clearly see on the landing of a lot of these slow motions, you can really see that I always give a little bit of gas on the landing, but I really see that my body falls backwards. So I'm not positioned correctly in the landing, not at all. And that's because I was focused on getting that knee in a different position, but I could not compensate with the balance yet, so to say, for that knee being in a different spot. So yeah, I have to work on that. The other thing is, if you think about if I'm standing on the balls of your feet, why do we want that? Because we want extra flexing with the ankle, yeah, that we, or with the heel, whatever you want to call it, yeah, of the feet. Because if you are somewhere over here, that is not possible. Then everything automatically, if you want to do something with getting on the floor, yeah, then it will be in your knees, yeah, and that means that you bring your knees forward and it brings you change the balance in your bike. So the idea is that if you're on the balls of your feet, if you land, that you can do a little bit of this flexing here, so you have a little bit of point to absorb that, let's say, that impact, but then with the ankle, yeah. And because that is a little bit scary, that's why we have then the extension, that it stops also, that it doesn't break anything in your foot or something. So if you think about the fact that we should have a flexing ankle, what I did was I made stills of all these landings, and we can see if I'm flexing the ankle, yes or no. Now, this one is the first. I think that is a clear no. It's, of course, a still from a video, so it's not everything is super sharp. Another one. Yeah, no, I don't really feel like I'm flexing here. This one is just a different angle, but yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think it's a lot of flexing going on. This one maybe goes in the direction, but I still write the M's here. This one, no, I don't think there's a lot of flexing here, but I don't know. And then this one, clearly I see that my ankle is dropped. So this is for me a yes. It's not a perfect one, but this one is clearly there. However, if I look at my back, that looks terrible. And also my arms, I don't know if that is the best position that they could be. But okay, if we just focus on the flexing of the ankle, I would say, okay, something happening. Finally, for the first time in my life. This one, yeah, I think I'm doing that. This one, no, forget it. That is not happening there. And this one, nah. This one, I don't know. Yeah. So the thing is also, of course, these are stills in the video, and I'm doing only 30 frames per second. Yeah, that flexing happens very quickly sometimes. So it could also be that it's simply not in the video. Yeah, that can also be. So maybe I should go with higher frame rate to really see if that is flexing is happening. But I think also in the picture we can see a little bit where the foot peg is, and simply not standing on the balls of my feet. So that flexing cannot really happen that easily, yeah, or very well, because yeah, if you're more in the middle, yeah, then that flexing is also will be limited, right? Okay, is that foot position getting better over time? I did 5 more rides that year, and I think I did more, but in 5 of those rides I also put the camera down to see what I was doing with my feet. And what I did in the next video I'm going to show you, I put on top the date, and yeah, the video I just switch every second to another date to see what's happening. And all the videos are sort of at the same spot in the track, as if all videos are running on the same spot in the track. It's not 100% of course, but that was a little bit the idea, so that you could sort of see a sort of continuous track going on and see what I'm doing with my feet. The videos are zoomed in by 2, so bear with me, it moves a little bit around, of course. Now I think you get the idea. So I went over the data every second. But if I look at it, and I have much more movies than what I show you here, I do not see any improvement at all. So it means that the 8 times that I drove with this new food pack, I think there was no very little improvement, so to say. Now, I want to make also the other observation that I had. I put that in the following movie.
My arms are locked. Mijn armen, jongens.
Yesterday.
Arms are full.
Hey guys, yet another day. Another Saturday in November. It's amazing how long we can drive this year over here. So going to practice a little bit again today. I was thinking about driving here, so what am I going to practice? Again, I'm going to practice just on the feet, just on the way I stand on the bike. Last week I was telling my friend Chef, telling him every time my arms are getting pumped. So I'm doing something different, I don't know what. So today I'm going to focus on trying to not get the arm pump, because it means I'm doing something wrong with my balance. So just work on that and see how it goes. Now, and this is the last ride of that year. And yeah, you see that I really noticed something going wrong with my balance. So with the new foot packs, I try to drive different, right? I try to sort of get this thing going more. And so maybe this is also a question for you, AJ. I really was fighting with acceleration and then trying to stand on the balls of my feet, and then how it feels when I accelerate, because trying to do that, I was fighting. Do I go more forward, less forward? What do I do? And I was thinking about the attack position as well. And every time I had the feeling that the motor was more pulling me with those foot packs, and therefore I was sort of falling more to the rear compared to what it was before, where I had the normal foot packs, where I did not focus so much on where my foot are. I would just, I think, stick out my head more or something. I do not know. Maybe you have an idea, give it to me. Yeah, but at least for me, the conclusion is, okay, I got these different foot packs, and all of a sudden I have more arm pump. Although, yeah, why would that be if I go to a different foot pack? Something changed. Yeah, so let's make a conclusion to the whole movie, so to say. So yeah, does a different foot pack improve my riding technique? Well, I'm not sure if I will say 100% yes there. let me split it up a little bit. I think a different foot peg did give me the following. So because this foot peg has more grip than the foot peg that I had before, it was easier to keep my foot in place. And also because it is more grippy, so your foot sticks more in place, you are more aware of when you move your leg to the brake and back, and if you go to the shifter and back, if you can do that, or if you try to, the duck thinking, what I was doing, you are more aware of that. So in itself, you could say, having a sharp foot peg helps you identifying what you're doing with your feet. Does not need to be this extended foot peg necessarily, I would say. A sharp foot peg will give that to you. What initially I got from the videos, I think still holds for me. This year I start driving the Stark. It does not have extended foot pegs. But I can remember when I put these extended foot pegs on, I was less afraid of trying to ride on the balls of my feet. Although I did not succeed so much, maybe, as we saw. But it lives a little bit between the ears, I always say. Because if you already do not trust it to ride like this, then you're never going to do it. So for me, it did bring me that trust. So if you may be considering it, 66 euros, well, do it, I would say. This one I would say, the question was, did I improve my riding technique? And I think one of these things was then, let's say, riding on the balls of my feet. And after 8 rides that I did that year, my conclusion is no. So it's not that if I go from this peg to that peg, all of a sudden I can drive on the balls of my feet. That is an ongoing learning thing, that we have to work on, at least I have to work on. And for me, I think the difficult thing is also you have to start doing something that doesn't feel normal. I've been riding quite a long time, the motor now, and now I have to stand different on the motorcycle to drive on the balls of my feet, and it doesn't feel natural to me. And that is the biggest hurdle to overcome, because if you're driving a track, and I think everybody will know that, especially when you're new, you are just surviving. You do not have so much time to think about everything what you do. So if I go into the track and I say, oh, I'm going to drive on the balls of my feet now, or I think I'm going to do that, then okay, I can focus on that. But still, everything what I do feels unnatural. And you're confronted with bumps, with jumps, with other riders, with some ruts, so many things around that track. That it's very easy to go back to what feels okay. Okay, that was for me, I think, the conclusion. Thank you for listening to this long story. Hopefully it brings you something as well. And see you in the next video.